is the Toyota Yaris GR Four. It was born out of Toyota's ambition in the World Rally Championship. As a homologation special, it had to meet strict requirements, blending rally performance with road car practicality. Toyota Gazoo Racing led the charge, with the rally legend Tommy Mäkinen playing a crucial role in its development. The design philosophy? Lightweight, rigid and aerodynamic. The GR Yaris rides on a unique platform that mixes the GAB and GAC platforms. This hybrid architecture was essential to accommodate the performance demands of rallying. Let's talk about the body. It's a masterclass in lightweight engineering. Aluminium is used for the bonnet, doors and boot lid, while the roof is made from carbon fibre reinforced plastic. This keeps the weight down to about 1,280 kilos. The styling is aggressive, with a wide stance, flared arches and functional air intakes. The lower roofline not only looks sporty, but also helps with aerodynamics and lowers the centre of gravity. Under the bonnet we have a 1.6 litre 3-cylinder turbocharged engine. This powerhouse cranks out 257 horsepower and 390 Nm of torque. Advanced tech like multi-oil jet piston cooling and ball bearing turbocharging ensures reliability as well as performance. The suspension setup features McPherson struts at the front and a double wishbone layout at the rear. It's tuned for a balance of performance and comfort. Braking is handled by large ventilated discs with 4-pot calipers up the front and 2 pots in the rear. In terms of performance, the GR Yaris hits 0 to 60 in about 5.5 seconds and tops out an electronically limited 143 mph. Fuel economy, a rather respectable 30 miles per gallon. And boot space, actually pretty good. This car has gained a massive following. Everyone that's got one in the supercar club absolutely loves them. The guy who owns this car has multiple supercars and says that it's his favourite car to drive. Let's go and have a look inside. The first thing you notice when you get in this car is the really comfortable leather and Alcantara seats. Really love this red stitching, and also you've got some red detail in the seats, as well as the logo on the headrest, just in case you wonder what you've bought. In terms of space, we've got a really nice sized glove box down here. We've then got some nice little cubby holes for storing phones and all sorts of things. And then we've also got some really nice cup holders, reasonably sized cup holders you can actually use. And then some more storage just behind that. In terms of rear legroom, there is actually way more than I thought there'd be. I've driven bigger cars than this that have less legroom in the back. And certainly if you move the front seats forward, you could definitely fit a tall person in the back without too much problem. So down here we have the button to turn off the start-stop functionality, or on if you want it on. Traction control on or off, and then you've got the IMT button, which is a bit of Toyota technology, which essentially does your rev matching for you. So when you're switching down gears, it will rev match rather than you having to heel and toe. Because I have to say, in this car, heel and towing, not in the best position with the pedals. 6-speed gearbox, you've then got a 12-volt charger, a USB charger just above that, and then to the right we've got the normal, sport and track modes. So normal puts the car into a front wheel drive bias, 60/40, sport puts it to a rear bias, about the same, and track puts it to a 50/50 bias. And also the 3 modes change to throttle response, and you can really feel it when you're driving along. Then you've got the normal aircon buttons, climate control, all that sort of stuff. And then the infotainment, which is pretty dated for a 23 plate car. Not gonna lie, not overly impressed with it. Not gonna go through the infotainment system too much because there's not really much to go through if I'm completely honest, but look at this crappy camera. We've then got a proper groovy start-stop button, really like that. You've then got the stalks, which have normal things like the wipers and the lights. Then on the actual steering wheel, we've got various buttons to turn on and off driving aids, such as lane assist, the thing that stops you hitting other cars, cruise control. You've also then got phone, as well as a mode which will take you through various options on the little screen on the dashboard. Dashboard is nice and simple. You've just got your speedo, rev counter, fuel and temperatures. Right, that's enough waffling for now. Let's take it for a drive. And pull the seat forward. Come on, midget. I think it's fairly common knowledge now that these cars are known to be like a little go-kart, and I would 100% agree with that sentiment. You know, I feel like I could just chuck it at a corner and it would eat it up, and you could pretty much do it at any speed that you wanted to do, and the car would just deal with it, and you'd get round and you'd survive somehow, probably through prayers, but also whatever this car does to be so good. And you do get a lot of feedback through the steering wheel. You know, I kind of know what's going on with it all the time. It's very communicative, I would say, but I'm not sure on this electric steering. I don't like the electric steering. I feel like it wants to, I don't know, it's very, very refined. The car is very refined in itself, but the steering just takes away a bit of the fun for me, I think. It feels like my Audi, but it feels like my Audi that I could take to a track, put in some pretty decent lap times, drive home, have some fun in, but then be quite comfortable going to the shops and leaving it in a car park. It's a tiny, tiny little car. When I first got in it, obviously when you first get in a car when you're driving it, you're never quite sure how big it is, but it is a really, really, really small feeling little car. One thing I would say is that I'm quite surprised at how much road noise and noise there is inside the cabin when you're driving along. I kind of expected that normal mode would be quite quiet and civilized, but you kind of, it's almost willing you to go. You know, the kind of engine note is constantly willing you to just put your foot down and have a bit of fun in it. Really wish I could show you. So it's got like a little dump valve, which I keep giggling every time I put my foot down and then lift off, because it just goes and any petrol head will know exactly what that's like, and we're all children at heart, but just did it again. I don't know if I can show you how it does it. Yeah. Alright, it's actually pretty fun. You kind of forget about the steering when you're pushing along on the back roads. The owner was absolutely right about third gear. He said third gear just is incredible, and it really is. You put your foot down and it just is so revvy. The only thing that's ruined that then is that I can't heel and toe in it, because the pedals are in completely the wrong place. Really pulls well. Does not feel like it's only got 257 horsepower, and everyone goes on about how light it is, but actually it's 1,300 kilos. It's still not a light car. I know other cars around are, you know, sort of 1,500 kilos these days, but 1,300 kilos to me is still quite heavy. But it doesn't feel any slower, I wouldn't say, than the Audi, which is obviously my RS5, which is obviously a bit heavier but has 450 horsepower, or the Lotus, which is lighter with like 410 horsepower. So again, they've done it. I don't know how they've done it, but Toyota have made a car that kind of just does everything, but also is fun to drive, you could take to the shops and live with daily. It's great. Okay, so fun factor, I'm going to give it an 8. I can 100% see why this car has such a following. It's good. It's really, really good. It's great to drive. Handles like it's on rails. You know, the track mode's very good, very good. But it's still a daily. So I would say 8 for fun factor, just because it's not a 9 or a 10. But practicality, you're looking at sort of a 7 or an 8. You know, you probably couldn't put a wardrobe in it, but I bet you could get a bed on the roof, and you could get a decent sized suitcase in the boot, so you could take a long-term holiday in it, you know, long-term being a couple of weeks, and be perfectly comfortable. I think the only thing I don't like about this car is the seatbelt alarm, because if you have a human in your passenger seat who doesn't have a seatbelt, doesn't need a seatbelt on for the thing that you're doing, the car will shout like ding 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 constantly. Doesn't go off, just carries on until the end of time. the most annoying seatbelt alarm ever. Like, ever. Other than that, I like this car a lot. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe and turn on your notifications for this channel so that you don't miss anything in future. See you next week.